Hi and welcome. I'm Mary Jo, also known as Sojo, and this is my weekly update number 12. Today is April 15th, 2023. This is where I talk about everything that I have made and worked on during the week, plus a previous finish or two along the way, like the quilt behind me. Now this week on the channel, I started releasing videos on my completed quilt trunk show. So I'll be doing that once a week, usually around Tuesday. Sometimes it might be Wednesday, until I've showed all the quilts that I have in my house. I don't know how many parts I'm going to have, because I don't know how many quilts I have, but I plan on doing about 10 at a time. Also coming up this week, I know I have 2 unboxing videos. I have my Lether Co. yarn box, and I'm waiting for my Creative Notions subscription box. It's out for delivery. So I will be doing unboxings on those this week as well. I'm also waiting for my Cotton Cuts April Gnomes. I believe they start shipping those around the 15th, so hopefully those will be going out soon, and then I'm doing some videos and showing those. Okay, let's talk about the quilt behind me. This is a previous quilt that I had done, and this name of this pattern is Barbed Wire, and it is from the Best of Pons and Porter Scrap Explosion Quilts. There's that. Okay, we'll take a look at the quilting. This was quilted on my long arm. Okay, now this has some butterflies and leaves right there and flowers. There's a butterfly right up there and some small little flowers all the way through it. I'll take it over. I'll turn it over and take a look at the back here in just a second. And this was the backing, where those quilting shows up much better. And then we'll take a look over at the other side. And there's that label. And this was done in 2019. So this is what I completed this week. It is quilted with a leaf pattern all over it. Now the leaves that's quilted out is not the same as the maple leaves that's around those panels. So we'll take a look at that quilting. So there's the leaves and the swirls. It's all around it. This is what I quilted on the long arm. I'll take it over and show the back. And that is what I put on the back. That was just leftover backing from my husband's Stonehenge quilt I did a couple weeks ago. Now I didn't think I was going to be able to do any quilting this week because I was planning on going over yesterday, but then I had a sick daughter. But I was able to go in the afternoon and get something quilted. So that quilt is another quilt from my 200 plus quilt top series that I am working through and quilting. I'm quilting all the ones that people have left comments on. So this coming week, my plan is to either quilt this purple Bargello or this Creative Notions quilt. And both of those were in my 200 plus quilt top series. Both of those had comments on, so we'll see which one I get done. Now let's look at my finished quilt top for the week. So this is my March Gnome Cotton Cuts quilt top. I'm just waiting for April's to come so I can get those all together, and then I'll be showing some videos and showing what that looks like when it's all done. So let's talk about what I've pieced and cut this week. So I started cutting out this quilt, The Awakening. I've got it all cut out. I haven't done any sewing on it yet, but I do have the start of some pieces put together. And it's all cut out. That took quite a bit of time for the cutting. Now let's see what else I have. I also worked on this Creative Notions box. It's from a while ago. This is from April 2021. Only 2 years behind. We're good. And the project in there, I think, was like a sewing machine cover, and I didn't want to do that. But they also had this block in here. So I decided to do this block and make with all the fabric and make that into a quilt. So there we go. There's my progress on all of those. For the flying geese units, I got one square sewed on, got the other one pinned on, so I got to take those to the sewing machine, sew those on, start working on those. I've also pulled out another Creative Notions project that I started working on, and let's see here. This is this family tree wall hanging. Now this is a panel, just got some borders on it, but it also came with some paper and fabric like to print pictures on, and then make, you know, like mini little quilt pictures to hang on for like a family tree. So I've pulled that out and started doing that. Of course, I haven't done any of the printing of the pictures, but I've got one border on. Well, the side border. I don't even got the top sewed on yet. Should do that. So that's another thing I worked on this week. Let me fold all of this up here. And this was the May 2021 box. Now the box that I am waiting to get now that is out for delivery is the January 2023 box, because they are a few months behind. They got behind with everything that was going on in the world, and they're working to catch up, but it doesn't really matter because I'm behind a few years anyway. Okay, now let's see, what else did I do? I have also worked on this starflower quilt pattern. Now I am doing the quilt, not the table runners. Now before I had sewed all the half square triangles, but now I have all the hourglass units done, and these are pinned together. These are kind of pinned together in 3 because it's going to be like a 9 patch unit. So I've got all of those ready to go to the sewing machine and start sewing those. So I worked on that project. I also worked on another sew sampler project, which the Starry Checkers. So I've got these pinned together, ready to sew into these 4 patches. Again, there's a bunch of them. So I worked on those quilt projects. And then I worked on 2 more quilt projects. This is another Sew Sampler project I worked on. This Fast and Furious quilt pattern. I am not doing the table runner. I am doing the small quilt back here. So, I have all of these penned together in rows. All 9 rows, 7 across. So I can start sewing those together into the center of that top. And one more thing I worked on. As far as quilts goes anyway. And that is this grid work pattern. I mean, not those fabrics though. We've got some alligator fabric going on here. I've got the center of these rows all pinned together, which I have to sew those down and then add a border. So I worked on that. And then I've got some borders that I need to sew together to start adding to that. Okay, so that is everything that I've done as far as quilting. Let's talk about cross stitch. Okay, so I've been working on this Christmas big band sampler. I have it just all in my Fat Quarter Shop Stitch Quarterly Project bag. So here's the progress we've made so far. Now last time I had finished the presents. So this is where we've gotten since then. Now this is on a 16 count Aida and I'm using all DMC. And I just kind of clip it all of this out of the way since I'm done with the top. And I think I'm using collar, yep, 817. So that's all I've done on cross stitch. Let's talk about crochet. Excuse me. So I did finish my cardigan. Remember last time all I had to do was add some trim, finish the trim. So my cardigan is all done. I would put it on, but it's too hot right now. Okay, so what am I working on now? Well, I started working on, let me get it, this hooded pocket scarf. And this is from Crochet Magazine, Autumn 2022. And I am using this Tweed and Deed from Yarn Bead, which is Hobby Lobby. And the one side's done. And this is actually the pocket. And that pocket will then fold up and be sewed down to create that pocket. So now I've started on the other side, and then make that hood. Now blue is my favorite color. I love all things blue. So I just came across this that I showed. This is a previous Afghan that I had made. Now this is about 20 years old. So it's old. It's just with all the baubles and stuff. So that's just something that hangs out in my living room, and we don't use our living room very often, so I kind of forget it's there. Because we always hang out in the family room. Okay, let's take a look at my diamond painting. And those are just the two sections that I've got done on my diamond painting. And let me see if I can show you a picture of that. That's what that'll look like when it's done. Okay, so that's everything that I've worked on and completed during the week, with the 2 preview finishes along the way. Join me next week when we'll talk about more of my quilty stitchy things. Bye!